Okay, this is actually really cool. So instead of needing a Poketuber to make some kind of trivia video, the Pokemon Company has made an official spookiest Pokedex entries list. Pokedex entries can often be frightening, even for Pokemon that seem cute and cuddly. Grab a glass of something pumpkin flavored. Now, whenever Pokemon social media tries to like make a meme or appeal to the Zoomers, I cringe a bit, but in this case, I'll allow it. Also, my October advice is just buy a half gallon of pumpkin spice sauce. You don't have to wait in Starbucks, you don't have to overpay, then you have it for pretty much the entire year. It's always pumpkin season. And then peruse the spooky side of the Pokedex. So we know there's some messed up ones, but yeah, like, they're not just saying, hey, we're only doing ghost-type Pokemon for Halloween. They're actually going into the good stuff. So let's find out. We have Araquanid. Okay, spider's kind of creepy. It launches water bubbles with its legs, drowning prey within the bubbles. This Pokemon can then take its time to savor its meal. Pokemon Sword. That's starting pretty hard. Drowning, meal, that's just GG. I didn't read the Pokedex entries for Araquanid, but dang. And the interesting thing is that they took the Pokemon Sword and Shield Pokedex. Is that actually like crazier than the original one? So, it delivers headbutts with the water bubble on its head. Small Pokemon get sucked in where they drown. Yeah, that's still pretty bad. It finds vulnerable, weak Pokemon and protectively brings them into its water bubble. Aw. So it can also be a caring Pokemon. But we're not here for that because it's spooky season. And then, yeah, now it launches water bubbles and just straight up drowns them and then eats them. Okay, so it looks like they are going for the crazier one. So we have the Doll Scorned. Bayonet. An abandoned plush doll became this Pokemon. They are said to live in garbage dumps and wander about in search of the children that threw them away. Pokemon Emerald. So we also just have sad ones, and yeah, Bayonet also has some pretty interesting lore behind it. So Beware's hugs. This Pokemon has the habit of hugging its companions. Many trainers have left this world after their spines were squashed by this hug. Pokemon Moon. Yep. There's only one interpretation for left this world. And that is, yep, we just got lore like that. Another interesting thing is, you know, you would think maybe over the years, Pokemon gets more soft and delicate. You know, we're not dealing with Pokemon Adventures manga back in the first couple of chapters or like the first couple of volumes. And even then, like, the older anime episodes seem to be a bit more rough. You know, they just didn't hold anything back. However, like Pokemon Sun and Moon, Pokemon Sword and Shield, no, they're still gonna be like, yo, things die in the Pokemon world, by the way. Oh, Cacturn. Has that ever made it into, like, a spooky Pokedex entry list? Because when making these kinds of videos, like a top 10 or, like, whatever trivia, it's like you want to go for ghost Pokemon, you want to go for eerie Pokemon. Well, Cacturn actually fits that. It's a dark cactus that roams around and does shenanigans. You don't really think I'm going to spend time looking at the Cacturn Pokedex entry. If a traveler is going through a desert in the thick of night, Cacturn will follow in a ragtag group. Pokemon are biding their time, waiting for the traveler to tire and become incapable of moving. That is actually one of the most terrifying things you can imagine. Like, the Pokemon world is hard. We already know that, like, it's brutal. There's a very high chance you just instantly die, and then there's a very high chance you die soon after. So that I couldn't imagine. Like, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, those vultures flying around, it's starting to stick to me. And that's not cool. So if you look around, it's like, why are these cactus following me? I'm just dehydrated. It must be my imagination. No, it's over. Darkrai, the nightmare Pokemon. On a moonless night, strange incident occurred where every one of the village's inhabitants suffered nightmares. Villagers attested that Darkrai appeared before them in these nightmares. Pokemon Legends Arceus. And of course, the worst Pokemon game would have the lamest Pokedex entry, and then they try to, like, pull that in for the Pokemon official.com thing. Lame. Actually, for Darkrai's lore and overall vibe, it's got a pretty wimpy Pokedex. You know, it means no harm when it uses nightmare attacks. And I guess it did kind of get that in the movie, but it's actually not that crazy Pokemon. It's actually pretty baby. The Soul Sucker. Dusknoir. With the mouth on its belly, Dusknoir swallows its target whole. The soul is the only thing eaten. Dusknoir disgorges the body before departing. Pokemon Shield. That's actually brutal. So yeah, you get eaten, but only your soul sucked out, and then it just leaves your husk. Yikes. A lot of these from Pokemon Sword and Shield, because like Gigantamax, that's Gen 8 only. It lays traps hoping to steal the lives of those it catches. Jesus Christ! If you stand in front of its mouth, you'll hear your loved one's voices calling. Jesus Christ! I didn't... Like, yeah, so it's been so long of having so many Pokedex entries, and a lot of games tend to, like, overlap and just repeat the same ones, so I didn't really go into it too much for Pokemon Sword and Shield. That was more 2016, 2015, maybe early 2017 trend to do that kind of Pokemon trivia. What's Mega Gengars? And oh yeah, and that's another thing, like, some of the Pokedexes, they just, like, didn't have details for all the National Dex Pokemon, so it just stopped becoming worth it, because, like, some of them just didn't get updated at all. So yeah, Gengar is all about, like, cursing people and stealing life force and stuff. I think actually Haunter is worse, or Ghastly. Like, if it licks you, you just kind of shake until you die because of the curse. And then Mega Gengar, you know, just pretty straightforward stuff. Tries to take the lives of anyone and everyone. Will even try to curse the trainer who is its master. I did a video years ago about how, like, the Mega Evolution Pokedex entries are the most messed up you can find in Pokemon. It's either all about, yeah, the Pokemon Mega, so now it's gone insane and will try to kill you and everything else, or it's in such extreme pain from having, like, the power just overflow into warping its body. So that's kind of neat. Pokemon Let's Go caused a stir one time when it struck just the one... Wait. It can pass through other dimensions and can appear anywhere. It caused a stir one time when it stuck just one leg out of a wall. What does that even mean? That's not even a rumor. That's as accurate as, like, fake Pokemon leaks that you find on 4chan. And then the Gigantamax. So yeah, what? It's just a gate to the underworld. I mean, that actually makes sense when you look at its design and you can kind of see what it's going for. But they just said it. They said it in a children's game. So, rumor has it that the mouth leads not into its body, but instead directly to the afterlife. And then it's just going to steal your life on a trap. Neat. Yeah, so I would say Gigantamax Gengar is a better realization of Gengar. The thing is, Gengar's, like, always done, like, shenanigans with its mouth and, like, traps and stuff, so I didn't really see that as directly as a gate to the underworld, but now it all comes together. Gliscor glides soundlessly on pitch black wings and sinks sharp fangs into the throat of its prey. You don't come back from that. It takes on a look of satisfaction once it has entirely drained its prey of blood. I mean, it does have, like, the vampire look to it, so that tracks. But yeah, has Gliscor made it into the top 10 list? Like, I feel like there's got to be a couple of Pokemon that have really messed up Pokedex entries that are only found in the most obscure of 10-vote Reddit posts and just forgotten to the brains of people that don't post online. So the look of satisfaction, that's a thing. A negative experience, Golbat. Golbat loves to drink the blood. I think we're starting to get into a trend here. It is particularly active in the pitch black of night. This Pokemon flits around in the night skies seeking fresh blood. Oh, I see what you did there, Pokemon. Frightful feeder. Although Gorbis is the very picture of elegance and beauty while swimming, it is also cruel. When it spots its prey, this Pokemon inserts its thin mouth into the prey's body and drains them of fluids. See, that's a big one. Like, everyone knows Gorbis is messed up. Gyarados, also pretty destructive. If it makes into a spooky trivia, nah, it doesn't really happen. Once Gyarados goes on rampage, its ferociously violent blood doesn't calm until it has burned everything down. And that even goes into the mega of just, like, even more crazy rampage. There are records of this Pokemon's rampage lasting a whole month. There's also, like, are we going to see the Primate here where it just, like, gets angry until it dies? And that's actually going to be really cool with one of the upcoming Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Pokemon. Bitter Flames and Fair Game. They spew flames mixed with poison. Ultra Sun, you lie, Pokemon. You lie, Game Freak. To finish off their opponents, they divvy up their prey evenly among members of the pack. Alright, that is bitter and fair. Mismagius, it appears as if from nowhere, muttering incantations, placing curses, and giving people terrifying visions. Pokemon Sun. Yeah, that tracks with everything. The name, the appearance, the type. Spooky. I like it. It's actually pretty neat. Sounds like a fun guy. The bug is mostly dead. Yeah, we all know what this thing's based off of. Don't Google it. Oh, it's so gross. With the mushroom on its back having become the main body, if the mushroom comes off, the bug's die. That's messed up. I didn't know it was that bad for Parasect and Paris. Because I think, like, that's the other thing about Paris's lore, kind of being similar, but they did a good job finding the most brutal Pokedex entry for this list. A feast fit for royalty. Really, Vespiquen. Commands its subjects to build its hive. It will dispatch any interlopers who dare sneak into its nest and use it as nourishment. Not directly brutal, but implications are still pretty strong. Makes sense. Yeah, Sliggoo's messed up too. It has trouble drawing a line between friends and food. It will calmly try to melt and eat even those it gets along with. And isn't that because, like, the acid has just burned out its eyes or something? It drives away opponents by excreting a sticky liquid that can dissolve anything. Its eyes devolved. I might have read that as dissolved at one point. But yeah, it devolved so it can't see anything. So that's just like primal snail shenanigans. Alright. Not that ridiculous. The lumps on its back contain its tiny brain. It thinks of only food and escaping enemies. Okay. Then we have Spoink. Bounce or die. It's one of those things where, like, you're so used to having, like, cartoons and stuff baby you so much and skirt around death and skirt around using, like, specific words. And then every once in a while, it's like, yep, on Pokemon.com you find die. Also on PokemonSunandMoon.com you found the word harem. Yep. Spoink bounces around on its tail. The shock of it bouncing makes its heart pump. As a result, this Pokemon cannot afford to stop bouncing. If it stops, its heart will stop. Now we know about that. Everyone knows about that. Many memes about that. The Green Avenger. Trevenant needs to make it on the list because, like, Trevenant, really, really cool. Through its roots, it exerts control over other trees. A deadly curse falls upon anyone cutting down trees in a forest where Trevenant dwell. They could have just gone with any of the Pokedex entries, to be honest. You know, you get lost in the woods, Phantomp are just dead children. You know, for kids. Just for kicks. See, and this is what the thing is where, depending on what Pokemon you're looking for, like Sarina, I guess some people have read it, but you need the right context. You need the right pumpkin spice in the air to really know what it's going to mean. So a kick from the hardened tips of this Pokemon legs leave a wound in the opponent's body that will never heal. That's a rough image. I was like, does Sarina really just step on you? But whew, no one wants that. Maybe some people want that. Yveltal, I like how they saved this for last. When this legendary Pokemon wings and tail feathers spread wide and glow, it absorbs the life force of living creatures. Pokemon X. Yeah, just we know these things, but also still some pretty crazy stuff. That was fun. That's a rarity when it comes to, like, good quality Pokemon content, because, like, all the competitive write-ups are junk, and a lot of the other things are just kind of like they don't really feel it. But this feels like either the person did their research or they've watched every single, like, Pokemon Dex trivia video and looked up multiple posts and went, yo, we're actually in on it. Because there was a couple of surprising ones even for me, who's also absorbed and made quite a lot of content. Pretty cool stuff. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you have a nice day. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.